Hello and welcome to episode 1 of The Chosen Ones, a show where we try and prove that anything can carry you to victory in TFT with the right strategy. Each episode we're going to pick one unit from the roster and see if we can build a comp around them. In addition, they must end the game with a full build, and if we see a chosen one of them in the shop, we must purchase it for the brand tie-in. So on this wheel, each champion has one spot. I'm hoping we get a real banger to kick things off. I think Azir would be fun. Oh man, okay, it's spinning pretty fast there. Okay, ideally not Fiora. Okay. Well, oh. Hey, wow. For the record, I didn't even add any effects. This site rocks. But alright, let's do this. Alright, so it's a pretty standard start for your Fiora carry build. You've got Fiora, Yuumi, and an Akali with Luden's Echo. Between the three, we have almost no synergy except Akali's ninja bonus. I figure with 2 3-cost units on our team, we should be able to just overpower our opponent, who has unfortunately leveled up and is clearly stronger than us. Now, if we still had our Fiora at this point, it might be a different story. She is the backbone of our team. Let's just say the V was lucky today. Oh, this is going to take a while. Let's just say that Yuumi won. I'm on the PB, so those red X's up in the corner are just a visual bug. Now, here we've hit a power spike with 2 duelists. We've replaced Yuumi with a Xin Zhao and added in Tahm Kench. But of course, the real bread and butter here is Akali and her early Ludens. She's just going to roll over the other teams for now, which really needs to be your plan whenever you build that item. Now, some people might be thinking, is this really a Fiora carry if Akali is doing all of the damage? A fair question, but Fiora is enlightened. Enlightened enough to know that a carry doesn't need to do the most damage. Sometimes a key stun, or even just a winning attitude and smile can be the difference. So for anybody who wants to try this version of Fiora carry, it has a really simple core to build around. You make sure that you get Akali and 3 to 4 other units. Doesn't really matter what synergies or what they are. They're just sort of there to be hit and fill space. Ideally, you want to make sure at least one of them is Fiora. So we ended up on a bit of a streak, winning 8 in a row. Now, traditionally, that could be the type of streak that lets you run away with the game, but our full build Fiora isn't popping off like some of our opponents' carries will be. But that's fine. That's why she's giving bonus attack speed to a real DPS, Tahm and Elise. Now, I want to take a moment to look at the comp that brought us to this point. Our front line is made up of Tahm and Elise, who share no synergy with any other members of the team. Our strong 3 duelist core is also coming online, and our Akali is now 2 stars. Overall, the future is looking bright for this squad, and I have high okay, well, you know, it never lasts forever, but at least we had a good run. So let's see if we can rally. We've got 4 duelists now. We should be able to boss around our opponents. I mean, we won 8 games, and nope, it's looks like the time for 1-cost carries is starting to fade away. So we're going to panic buy a chosen Sejuani and act like Tahm has been building to this the whole time. The one flaw with going in on Fortune at this phase is it assumes that we will be winning games. So we can see here Aphelios is breaking the Geneva Convention against my team as they calmly walk towards some single file. That's going to be happening a lot. Let's look at the other teams. So we've got 4 Hunter, we've got 4 Shade, which is pretty good. We've got 6 Assassins. And my personal favorite, we've got 6 Duelist, the natural counter to our 4 Duelist. We also got 3 Fortune. I'm not too worried about that guy. But that's how most of the end game is going to play out as we gently float down to a 5th place finish. Overall, not the worst, but Fiora and the Duelist seem like the worst part of this composition, so let's try something different. So this time around, only minor changes. Elise is out and Maokai's in, and we've put in Jax instead of Yasuo. Unfortunately, the damage potential of these 4 is still quite low, and without our Akali, the early game is significantly rockier. So this team doesn't really have the flair you'd want in one inspired by Fiora. If I had to pick a champion to associate it to, I would describe this board more like a Malphite comp. Because as you can see, it just sort of stands there and doesn't do anything. Would you believe me if I said Tom won that one? Anyway, jumping ahead a bit, I ended up this time leaning more into a Divine Duelist composition. We even have a Chosen Jax, which helps us get the 4 Divine, 4 Duelist, and even some Razzle Dazzle in there. Here we can see our old pal Aphelios is back at it again, just styling on our entire team. Morgana and Lux are going to try and hold on, and well, okay. Better luck next time. Well, okay, maybe best 3 out of 5. I don't think this one's going to work out. Okay, well, someone has to get 8th place. Now, if you look real close here, you can actually see Lux reporting the rest of her team. She tries to 1v9 there. I've decided the Duelist Fiora just isn't going to happen, so we're going to take a different approach. I know there are a lot of people out there who try and apply classical texts like the art of war to modern sports, so I'm going to try and do something similar. So this time we got a bit lucky and we can run the Pink Ladies opener inspired by Greece. I'd like to think of Fiora as a Rizzo, as I'm trying to prove that there are worse things we can do than build around her. And for once we actually come out of the gate swinging. Go Fiora, go Fiora. So here we can see the core of the Pink Ladies comp. We of course have the 4 Pink Ladies, Nami, Janna, Fiora, and Aurelia. And Shen is Danny Zuko, I guess. Shen is a pretty good Zuko stand-in, honestly. His taunt mimics a young John Travolta's charisma, and we can just call his ninja hand jitsu stuff the hand jive and call it a day. This is actually a pretty good time for our composition. The early adept bonus plus 4 enlightened gives us a consistent strong start, and with Aurelia, Shen, and of course Fiora, we're able to usually capitalize on that into a win. Now, the next step is we add Morgana, and then we have a really nice 6 Enlightened, 2 Dazzler, and 2 Adept composition. We're also going to upgrade our Fiora to Chosen, as that's part of the rule. We had the opportunity and we went with it. And now we want to just sort of highlight how this team fights. So, as in any TFT fight, there's 1,000 things going on, but I think the most important thing is the early Adept into Morgana's Dazzle, into Lux's Dazzle, just keeping everybody moving super slowly. In the meantime, the Enlightened team getting lots of mana, moving quickly, and look at that Fiora stun. Beautiful. MVP performance. Unlike the last few games with a weirdly tanky Fiora, I decided to go with the lore and give Fiora only swords. So that's how she ended up with Bloodthirster, Shiv, and Zephyr combo. A classic, of course, but I think it works for Fiora. Some people say if you aren't first, you're last. I'd say if you're above 5th, you're basically first. I don't really see how this team is going to consistently get first, but it got 3rd place once, and that's going to be a big pass for this channel. So, Fiora? Enlightened Fiora? Anyway, that wraps up Fiora. I'm going to keep working my way through the roster as Set 4 continues, so if you like my stuff, feel free to subscribe. If you don't, as always, feel free to come fight me IRL. I'm jacked.